Yo, what's going on, guys? Winner Kills here, and welcome back to a brand new live testing match. The other day I posted in the community tab that locals feature matches will be returning, and I just wanted to get some of these videos I recorded with my friends the other week out of the way first. But then after that, you guys will see 4 rounds of locals, and then actually 2 deck profiles this week to kick things off. So be on the lookout for that. And of course, One Deck 1 Month will be returning soon enough. So let's go ahead and get into this matchup here. This is me versus my friend John. And there was actually another match we played after this because we were supposed to play each other in a little 8-man online tournament we both decided to play in our local group. And we got paired against each other. And we wanted to play a warm-up match first, and then we'd play our actual match, which everybody else was playing on DB, but the runner of the tournament, a good friend of ours, said we could play it in person. And we played that after that. So if you guys want to see that at some point, let me know. But this is our first match we played. I also realized the last duel video I posted, and this one I recorded in 1080, which was a mistake on my end. Normally they're in 4K, but it is what it is. So me versus my friend John here. PK versus Swordsoul, which I know is, or not Swordsoul, that was the last video, and now we have PK versus Speedroid, which I realized I also uploaded like the similar matchups like a week or so ago. But yeah, I hope you guys do not mind. We're going to lead with the Terror Top, though. That's going to get me into the Hound. Hound's going to dump the Duplicate, go for the Cork here. And I decided to add the Duplicate at this point just for an extra interruption. I didn't want to go for Wheel at this current point in the game, as I felt like I had enough extenders in hand already and enough gas to keep going. So I decided to take that extra interruption in the form of Duplicate, which isn't so bad. You know, even going blind into most matchups, it's pretty good. And one thing I love doing with Duplicate is bouncing back row to the hand. You guys will see, I have some really cool replays in the upcoming episodes of Rogue to High Rated. Because obviously, even with locals coming back, that series is going to be sticking around because I know a lot of you guys enjoy watching it. And I've got some bangers of matches to go over for you guys. So as the new DB season is kicked off here, just about a day ago from when I'm recording this. But we're going to go into the rubber band shooter here, and we're going to banish a 5. I take a little bit of a risk here. I go ahead and reveal Marble and Duke, and I get a little greedy here, as you could probably tell. But I already have like Card Turbo, Tomborg, another normal summon in the form of Hound in my hand, and a recovery. So I was like, you know what? If I don't get the Duke to my hand, I can just normal the Hound and get Duke in grave anyways, and have Duke in hand for follow-up if I can get to Hagoita. So I decided to extend here into the Auroradon. Again, since I have so much follow-up in hand already if we get hand trapped, so I'm not feeling too worried. So we're going to go ahead and Piper into, or Tomborg into the Piper. No Ash there on the Tomborg, luckily, and we're going to reveal 4. We find a Wheel, a Car Turbo, a Tomborg, and another Wheel. So not really too many options here in terms of extenders, but, you know, I go ahead and take the Wheel there, obviously, because it's about to get Wheel, you know what I mean? But it's good because, like, you know, I have that extra Marble Machine and I can go ahead and discard if I feel so inclined. But then we're going to spec out the car after we sink into the Baron. Go into Charge Warrior. Charge Warrior, I think, draws me into a Dice. Not the most stellar draw there, but either way, we're going to go ahead and Synchronite into Shen Shen. And, yeah, we end on Baron, Shen Shen. Or no, I think it might have drawn me into Ghost Ogre. I could be wrong. So Baron, Shen Shen, 2 set back row. One of them being Duplicate, the other being Wheel, which I should not, in hindsight, have set the Wheel. I should have held the Wheel because that's just good follow-up for next turn regardless. Even if I can't use it this turn to great effect, you know, maybe if I had already had a Hagoita in play, I would have probably gone for the Wheel, or if I needed more bodies, if I got hand trapped, right? But definitely setting it here is not the move, as my opponent is going to go ahead and normal summon Greaves and spec Boots. And this is one of the reasons why I hate this matchup, because, like, Shen Shen, yes, it's so good. But, you know, at the same time, they just out it so easily with Break Sword. And then on top of that, like, the materials, you know, they don't get banished because they're not on the field. So Shen Shen really doesn't do too much there. And, you know, I'm going to Duplicate, bounce the Break Sword back. And he's got Dark Ruler afterwards anyways to go ahead and keep going here. So feels kind of bad. He just completely cracked my spine in half there. But now he's got to be able to fully crack the board. Yeah, fully crack the board. You know, you can Dark Ruler me all you want, but you got to clear the board, and you got to put up something pretty good. Because I do have a nice amount of follow-up in the graveyard, and I wish, again, at this point, that the that Wheel was still in my hand, because that would also be a really good follow-up. And I don't have to worry about losing it to any sort of, you know, spot removal that he might have in the form of another break sword or rusty, etc., etc. This is, again, one of the reasons why I shouldn't have said it. So yeah, he's going to go ahead and use the effect of boots to search, and then use the effect of stain greaves to go ahead and spec the gloves from the hand. And right now he's probably just figuring out a way to Cherubini, if there is one. So he's going to go ahead and potentially set that Shade Brigandine there. Great extender, but of course it is a level 4. Could you imagine if it was a level 3? I simply could not imagine if it was a level 3. Yeah, taking a good moment to think here. Because, like, I mean, he has Shade in hand. And I really can't get a good look at the other cards. I think I saw another trap card. It might have been Wings. Yep, it is Wings. Yeah, he's... So, for people that don't know, my friend John here on the left is our resident VW player. At least has been for the last, I want to say, year or so. And he's always drawn Shanwu, the one-of trap. And I guess even switching to a new deck has not changed his fate in any way, shape, or form to draw those one-of bricky traps. But it is what it is. He's going to make his way into Time Thief Redoer. I guess he used the other effect of the Stain Greaves to go ahead and make that gloves at level 4, assuming that, you know, he's probably going to pair it with that Shade Brigandine. And this is just going to give him Zeus access. It's not going to give him access to, like, super crazy engine or anything. You know, he will run over the Auroradon for 0 damage. And, yeah, this is what I was talking about in the last match, where my friend accidentally put Downard on top of the Redoer, which he can't do. But I go ahead and remind him here. And this is actually important because at this point it actually would have given him an extra send. So he is going to go ahead and Zeus. I'm going to use the Ghost Ogre right now because I really don't have any other opportunity to use it since the board is getting cleared. I mean, arguably I could have maybe held it for a tuner next turn, and there goes my wheel too. Something again, you know, I'll say it 1,000 more times. It sounds like a broken record, but I should not have set the wheel. And then Looking Grave, I think I have Hound in there. Pretty sure I've got Recovery. And Shen Shen. I guess Shen Shen is live now too. I guess that's the important thing about not holding the Ghost Ogre, because if I would have held it, the Shen Shen would not be live. But now it is, of course, live because we have a light in the grave. So we have Shen Shen, we have Recovery, we have Hound. We have a decent amount of follow, but of course we have Card Turbo too to go ahead and put some extra damage on. I think I draw Wandering Griffin Rider for turn here, which is a really welcome to draw. Some people might not be sure as to why. I mean, I just had a comment earlier, somebody asking me why I play Wandering Griffin Rider, but normally, this is a bad example, but normally it's easy Baron access because, you know, what I just did there. I could have just synchroed the Duke and the level 7 Griffin Rider into Baron. But I mean, at this point, we're just going to start clearing things up. My opponent sees the writing on the wall. Definitely have OTK here at this point. Even could have synchroned for Chomber there just to close it out. So we're going to do a game 2 here. And like always, I'd like to mention a shout out to our sponsor, Imperium Duelist. If you guys are interested in picking up amazing playmats, deck boxes, sleeves, dice, and more, check them out at the link below. And don't forget to use my discount code WinterKills10 off at checkout to save 10% off your entire order and support the channel in the process. And also, don't forget to check out the affiliate links I have to the Coldest Water and the TCG player, respectively, at the links below. Anytime you guys shop and check out using that link or those links, a small bit of revenue from your purchase will go right back in the channel and helps out a ton. So yeah. As you guys could probably expect, PK opting to go first here. Not winning the die roll, of course, gave me the opportunity to go first, but they're going to take every opportunity they can here to go first in game 2 to set up that really powerful board. And I think as you guys saw in the previous match, there is no Adventurer engine in my friend's build here. You know, not only is the Adventurer engine very expensive, but a lot of people do have their quarrels with it, the amount of bricks that get added to the deck. You know, some people don't really like that, and I get it. You know, I'm a fan of consistency too, but sometimes that ceiling is really, really enticing to go for that higher ceiling. So yeah, I mean, but like the DPE classic, like you know, PK build still really, really strong. I'm gonna see him go for Leviair here now, and taking a look at my opening hand, I think I have E-Telly, Double Gamma, and a copy of Tetherwolf Marble Machine. I think that's my opening 6. And I had the Gammas in here, which is something at this point I'm wishing was not Gamma, as I've removed Gamma from my side completely. I'm siding now 3 Lancia instead. I'm also siding Dark Ruler. At least I was siding Dark Ruler for a time, but I don't think I'm siding it anymore. Just because, like I kind of want to experiment with siding something like DD Crow, because like I said, this is one of those matchups that I want to have more side deck cards for. I mean, on top of that, I already have like Nibiru and Imperm. I don't think Ash is too good against the PK deck. The way my friend put it, is always just a -1 against this deck, because like a lot of times one Ash, unless they open absolutely horrendous, it's not really going to do too much in the grand scheme of things. And that's not really a a chance you want to take, just hoping they opened very, very poorly to the point where one interruption is going to stop them. Because again, most of the time it's not going to matter. And I guess you could arguably say the same thing about Imperm, but like opening up Imperm Nib is really, really strong. Even going against the Brave variants. And of course, Imperm stops things like Anaconda, which Ash does not. So yeah, another thing to keep in mind. And we can see our DPE player. I mean, he is playing DP, but our PK player has opened a copy of Dasher here, which is giving him some grief, I imagine. He opened up the wings in game 1, and now seeing the Dasher in game 2. And basically going to go for a Break Sword here. Use Rusty, pop the Break Sword effect, bring the 2 back. Shade Brigadine now. Going to try to get access to the Time Thief Redoer. And I assume the other materials are going to be left for the Green Snake. And this is basically what I'm holding my Gamma for, is that Green Snake, because I know that's one of the most important and powerful parts of the engine, and something I really don't want to deal with right now. Yeah, like the Redoer and the Rusty and all that stuff, don't really care about. It's the DPE and the follow-up that goes with it that I want nothing to do with. So yeah, he's going to dump the Fusion. He'll take the 2000, and I'm going to Gamma that. Because again, don't want anything to do with the Anaconda whatsoever. And I guess speaking of DD Crow too, not only can it snipe certain PKs out of the grave mid-combo, can out-scythe, but it also outs DPE permanently for the free. And it's one of the reasons why I like the idea of siding DD Crow this format as well. Pretty good against the Sword Soul deck for hitting things out of the grave like Ushanas and, Vashudas, etc., etc. So he's going to go ahead and set 2, and after he uses the boots there, and pass turn to me, and I'm going to remember to banish my Driver and my Gamma and stand my phase. He takes a red reboot off the top. Would have loved to have seen that. But, I guess it's not destiny for me to see that. So he's got 2 traps and a monster underneath that, so we can definitely go ahead and return something to the top of the deck here. So I got to play through that. I've got to play through, potentially Fogblade or 2, because it's pretty much always guaranteed to be 2. And then I've also got to worry about the Break Sword coming back with the Rusty. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 interruptions here, and then the other hand traps you might have is bonus as well. And I'm just trying to figure out how am I going to play through this. Also, one thing to keep in mind too, I wasn't actually playing Pilica at this point, and I kind of wish I was. But, it is what it is. So I was playing the Ogre instead of the Pilica, but now I realize after a little bit of testing, I think Pilica is much better. And so I decided to actually lead here with a normal summon Marble Machine. I probably should have went with Tetherwolf, because my opponent maybe would have been more inclined to let the Tetherwolf go through. And then we're going to use E-Tele here to extend into the Nian. And my opponent's going to use the Fogblade, bring back the Break Sword, and he's going to pop the Rubber Band Plane. And, I don't really have much else to do because I have a card turbo in hand, and, no other extenders to work with. They're a completely open field. Would love to have Terratop or Wandering Griffin Rider that would have came in very clutch to keep extending past that. That's one of the reasons why I love Wandering Griffin Rider, is because it's an extender that isn't like a lot of the other extenders in your deck, at least in terms of how you get them on the field. They're extenders that are unique in how they summon themselves. Like, you need to control winds for Tekatombor. You need to control wind for Card Turbo. But for things like Primitive Butterfly, Wandering Griffin Rider, you don't need to have that stipulation. So it kind of helps out a lot. In situations where certain extenders which are normally good are now dead, they can be alive and help you play. So here we're going to go ahead and normal summon Tekatombor. It's not the best hand when we have to normal summon Tekatombor. So, I mean, it's not terrible though. And I also had a ruling question here too. This is why I'm taking a good minute to search. I think the question was, and it was a really easy answer. I was overthinking it. I was like, if I go Tekatombor tag for Piper, and then, activate Rubber Band Plane in hand, can I use Piper to reveal 1? And I don't think the answer is, I think the answer is no, just because when Piper is summoned, there's no wins on board, you know, for it to even activate its effect to begin with. So I kind of answered my own question there as we were figuring that out. So we summon the Duke, we summon the Plane. Plane is like, oh, I love Plane. It's a card I always think about playing 2 of, but at the same time, 1 is just perfect. Comes in clutch so many times. It's a very skillful card too, because like there's a lot of times where you use it and you're like, oh, that was really good, and there's some times where you think about like, you know, I should use this here, and you don't, and you're like 2 seconds later, you're like, no, I should have used that there. That would have been perfect. Like, there's so many good opportunities for Plane to be an incredible card. Very, very skill-intensive card again. So we're going to get into the rubber band shooter here. We're going to additional normal for the marble. Marble's going to add us Tekatama. We're going to spec Tekatama again because, well, we're going to spec it for the first time because I normal summoned it earlier, but use its effect again because it's not a once per turn. And we're going to reveal 2. We're going to take that Solemn Judgment, feeling very strongly about that. And I've also got Cosmic Cyclone and Duplicate in hand, and we're just going to try to set up a nice little Baron charge word. Go ahead and pick up another card there. And feeling pretty rock solid here at this point with the end board that we're going to have to top the PK Onslaught. I think I picked up a wheel, so we're going to go ahead and set 4. Keep the wheel in hand this time. And I think I've got Imperm, Judgment, Cosmic, and something else. Might be Gozen Match. I don't know. Gozen Match is a card I'm also very torn on, too, when it comes to playing against this deck. Like, Gozen Match seems like really okay. And then sometimes it seems absolutely awful. And then the reason I think about playing Gozen against this deck specifically sometimes is because of now that E-Telly's at 3, you're going to see those psychic monsters on board a lot more often, and even also against the Brave engine too. Gozen Match can just be devastating against that particular variant. So it was a little strange playing against a variant that did not have the Brave engine in it, because it didn't have to, like, you know, that easy, you know, okay, this is a very good time to Gozen Match. This is a little more tricky trying to Gozen Match this particular variant, because a lot of times you're just going to be having dark monsters on board. So my opponent is going to normal summon Torn Scales. I see this is a very vulnerable opening, so I'm going to go ahead and use the Duplicate Engrave to go ahead and return that to the hand. He's burned his normal summon. Now he needs to have 2 extenders or else he's kaput. So he's going to have the E-Telly, and again, this is where like having Gozen Match would be so insane, because E-Telly's at 3, odds are they're going to see it more often, right? And they're getting access to those Earth monsters or Ghost Ogre for light, even though it probably makes more sense to have access to their psychic stuff like the Tracker and Wielder, etc. But still, Earth, like, you know, they're not going to be able to play through just Earth monsters on board. But my opponent is going to have the Droplet, and he's going to go ahead and pitch 2 to negate both the Rubber Band Shooter and the Baron, pitching out a Torn Scale and a Boots, and he also has, you know, another Psychic Extender in hand too. Must be nice. So he's going to go for Breaksword here, and this is a little bit of a 9,000 IQ play on my end, I would say. So my opponent summons the Breaksword, and I think again I have a Cosmic, an Imperm, and a Judgment set up. So I don't have Gozen right now, but I'm probably wishing I did, because I think Gozen would have been a turn ender. So my opponent goes ahead and targets the Cosmic that I have set. And I'm like, you know what? Do I really want to lose the Cosmic here? And also, do I want to let this Breaksword resolve? Because letting the Cosmic get hit seems like, okay, it's fine. He didn't hit the Judgment. He didn't hit the Imperm. You know, I could probably let the Cosmic go, but Cosmic is just such a good card against this deck. Hitting set Shade Brigandines, making sure he can't continue to extend. Hitting Fog Blades in the Crackback, also very, very important. So I do decide to burn the Imperm there, because A, I want to protect that Cosmic, and B, I do not want to let this Breaksword resolve to go ahead and bring back 2 bodies. He will go to the battle phase here, and this is going to allow him access to an early Zeus. I guess not super early, but you know what I mean. Early on in the combo, I guess. And he will get access to Downard here, too. So this is going to be a 4-mat Zeus, kind of scary, and this is actually going to force the Judgment, as I cannot let this Zeus walk. There's just no way I let this Zeus go. Cannot let that happen. And I might as well just let him get the Zeus out of the extra deck too. Might as well let him burn the Downard and then burn the Zeus on top of that, so he cannot make it later. But now he's going to go ahead and continue to extend here. He's going to go ahead and activate the Boots, and that's going to grab him the Shade Brigandine. And then this is going to also trigger the Well, maybe adding Shade Brigandine here. I was gonna say he could, like, a lot of things I usually see people do is they'll add like a Fog Blade, or they'll add like a what is it, a wings off of something like boots, and then they'll use that as discard fodder for their Torn Scales. And now we're going to see something a little suspect here. My friend John is probably watching this. I'm just going to ask him, what's going on here, my man? You're adding a cloak off of boots, even though it's only adding Phantom Knight spell or traps? It's whatever. It's mistakes happen. And this is also my fault for not catching this as well. But, you know, it is what it is. So he will illegally add cloak off of the boots, and then using Torn Scales to discard the cloak. To go ahead and send another PK. Yeah, so he's going to dump the Fog Blade here, and now activating Cloak to go ahead and spec Boots. But I don't know if he's ready for this Cosmic in the back line still. I just don't know if he's ready. We're going to see him go ahead and link to for the Cherubini. Yep, is yet to exhaust Cherubini here. And see, activate Cherubini effect to go ahead and send Gloves this time around. And, yeah, looking to send the Gloves here. Okay, I was expecting this, like, is the BA engine going to come out yet? Or are we going to see him dump Graph, summon Seer, then link into Rusty, get back the Cherubini, maybe? But opting to go ahead and get that Gloves in the graveyard. Now we're going to see the Pog Blade activate. That's going to go ahead and revive the Gloves. Has a Graph in hand, so this is why the BA engine did not come out. So he's going to spec the Graph for the zone that Cherubini points to. And then we're going to see Leviair detaching the Graph here. And that's going to go ahead and spec the Torn Scales. Remembering that he cannot spec off of Graph here since he specs from hand. And, yeah, luckily that happened correctly. And now we're going to go ahead and see him link 3, perhaps? Link 2? Nope. Okay, link 3 here into Rusty. I was going to say he's going to maybe go for Anaconda there or something. But we're going to see him go for the Rusty. He's going to set Shade, dump Stained. Not dumping Stained here, dumping another Cloak for a follow-up for next turn, I suppose. And I want to, yeah, so this is where, again, that Shade comes in handy. He was not expecting the Cosmic there. Cosmic on the Shade Brigandine coming up so clutch here because that was his access to Verte Anaconda, and now he cannot get access to it. And I saw him taking this route, and I'm like, okay, this Cosmic is going to come in very clutch because I see what he's doing here. He's going to try to, you know, use this Shade and with the Leviair to get access to the Anaconda and then to the DPE. But, you know, the Cosmic coming in very, very clutch to make sure it does not get special summoned. And now we're left in this, you know, scenario where he's not able to out the Baron. And he's got a pass turn here as I draw Imperm, and I still have Wheel in hand, so we're going to go ahead and pitch the Imperm, because why not? Imperm's completely dead right now, and I roll a 4, which is huge, huge, huge. We're going to go ahead and spec out a Duke and a Dice, and we're pretty much off to the races here. We're going to go ahead and link 2 into the Rubber Band Shooter effect here. And I don't have Hound access. I was going to say, if I have Hound, I can go ahead and put Terror Top back, and then Rubber Band Shooter reveal the Terror Top again. One play that I really like to do because, you know, we only have one Terror Top. So, you know, once you reveal it the first time, once you get it into your graveyard, hard to get it back into your deck unless you have something like Hound to put it back in, then to re-reveal off of the Rubber Band Shooter. So deciding carefully on what I want to banish, we go ahead and decide to banish a 6. I think I reveal Car Turbo and Hound here. Or no, Car Turbo and Tekatomborg. Okay, I think I see what I'm trying to do. I think I'm trying to step up into Auroradon here. And then I get the Car Turbo to hand. And this is, okay, so this is a saucy play that could be done here. I mean, I actually don't know if I have the materials to do it, the raw materials, but this is a play I did against my friend in a DB match as I synchro for Shen. Wait, no. I was going to say, that's not supposed to happen. We're going to go ahead and link for Auroradon. I was like, wait a second, that's not right. Link for Auroradon. Auroradon's going to spec 3 tokens. But the play was that, like, similar scenario to this where I didn't get the Tekatomborg to my hand, so I used Car Turbo to banish it and then made Chambara, and then synchroed off the Chambara to add back the Tekatomborg to get it back to my hand. Super cool play. Oh my god, it was such a cool play. So we're going to use the Duke here to spec out the car, and then Auroradon to go ahead and pop, and then Baron to pop, and then Car Turbo Effect, and yeah, that's going to go ahead and just be game. That's all she wrote. Sword Soul, or Speedroid, taking it 2-1 here against the PK deck. Yeah, if you guys want to see more of my content, click on one of the videos popping up at the bottom of the screen right now. And last but not least, a special thank you goes to our Divine Level channel members. They are Tweeter0226, Pony Start, Cadillacs84, Key Scissors, and Black Ninja Money. Thank you guys so much, as always, for your extremely kind and generous support of the channel.